Cool. Well, I feel like you've touched on a lot of things that contribute to your leadership journey and have contributed to it. Can you elaborate a little bit more about your personal leadership journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think I touched on most of it. I started young. I had the opportunity to see people providing leadership, and at a young age, I saw what worked and I saw what didn't resonate with people, um, and I saw people who, including myself, um, who disliked that sort of style, but it's how we were raised, right? I mean, it was what you grew up in. And so it was hard not to take on some of that in your own leadership. And it really required some ability to uh, push against that later to kind of get away from that style or that approach to leadership. And so, I always was sort of an informal leader, I think, for a lot of times in my organization. And certainly then I in the leadership roles within the firefighters association, and representing other firefighters in that process, I started to learn more about the importance of leadership and standing up for supporting other people, and doing the right things for the right reasons, all of that type of stuff that evolved as I went through. you know i I promoted to the rank of battalion chief in Santa Fe. I went on to become the fire chief in Benicia. And, sometimes you never know where your leadership journey is going to take you. I tell people I never envisioned being a fire chief because it wasn't something early in my career that the role models, were there that made me want to aspire to that. And so I never really envisioned that. When I went to Benicia as the fire chief, I can tell you I never envisioned sitting in the city manager's office either. But that happened. And so for the last year that I was there, I ended up serving as the assistant city manager for about 10 months. And I served as the acting city manager for 2 months while we were in between city managers. And so I share that because, again, that that helped me grow as a leader. And I used that in my next interview when I was going for the fire chief's job in the city of Coronado, where the Coronado Fire Department also has the beach lifeguards underneath them. And so that's kind of unique for most of us in the fire service. We don't work in with those. And so one of the questions during that selection process was about what my leadership style was for this kind of unique group. And I remember answering the question with sort of a sarcastic response of, well, since I had zero experience working with lifeguards, I don't know that I can truly answer that question. But then I correlated back very quickly to when I ended up in the city manager's office in Benicia, where I said, well, I really didn't know much about leading the public works department back then either. But what I did know is I needed to just roll my sleeves up, get involved, and figure out what it is that they need and what their needs are, that type of thing, because ultimately they're just people. And that's what we're leading, is people. And so I think that really kind of helped me kind of make that next leap when I had that sort of revelation, that it's just people. It doesn't matter what their job is. We're about leading people. And if you are able to work with them and figure out what their needs are and be able to support their needs, you can provide them quality leadership.